Pretty much just want to go over my pre-market game plan going into tomorrow and a couple of setups that I'm excited for coming into this week that I believe are setting up on the higher time frame for some pretty potential big RR trade and even possible swing trades. So let's get into the charts. So here with the SPY, right, we are still bullish on this higher time frame, right? As you can see, right, we are, let me go on the 1 hour here. You can see, right, we are stair stepping higher. We are stair stepping higher. So we ended up getting a pullback on Friday, not fully down into this level, but not too far away. And as you can see, buyers stepped up aggressively, right? So coming into Monday, if there is no gap up or gap down, we're pretty much open in the middle of the range here, right? But as you can see, the 667.35, right, is being respected perfectly on the higher time frame. So really for me on the overall market on the SPY, right, looking for a pullback long off this 667.35 or a break and retest above the 672.68, which is now the new all-time high. Now here, my note here says wait for clean displacement, right? Whenever I'm trading a stock that's approaching all-time highs and there are no more overhead, key levels for it to gravitate towards, I'm very big on being patient, waiting for big displacement before the retest, because that is showing me buyers are really in control and they are trying to push this thing higher, right? You do not want to get caught in a reversal or in a liquidity graph fake out by, a weak breakout. I call it a break and base, right? Where we break above a key level, we chop around a little bit, and then maybe we start moving higher. No, I need buyers to show their hands. So if we don't get a strong displacement breakout, I'm pretty much just going to pass on this because I don't want to get caught in a reversal. If we get more pullbacks, if we fall under the 667.35, I'm still looking for pullback longs, right? We are not looking to short this name. So I went over this last week. Let's zoom out here. This is clear reasons why. Does this really look like something you want to short, right? The trend is your friend. So that being said, that's my game plan coming into tomorrow for SPY. Tesla, right? Ended up pulling back, defended this at the end of the day very well, this 602.87. So, right, as you can see, we're pretty much starting to be in a range, and this is normal, right? When we make new all-time highs and then we start consolidating a little bit, that's 100% normal, right? We're going to see a little bit of consolidation, right? Before a little bit of consolidation before what it breaks out of this range and then makes its next leg higher. That is completely normal, right? That's completely normal. So coming into Monday, I am looking for a pullback long off this 602.87, targeting the top of this range, and then of course a break and retest over 607.15, targeting more upside, right? So same thing like I said on SPY. If we do get a breakout above this, I want a clean, big displacement, buyer show me they're in control, a pullback retest, and a continuation higher. And right, if we do fall under this, I am looking for a pullback long off this level, right? If you look to short under this previous day low, right, that's not smart because now you're going long. I mean, you're shorting into a key daily support level. And this 600, this was a big level last week. We needed to get over this to get more upside, and we finally got a hold, right? We came above last week, felt miserably, turned into resistance. As soon as we broke over the 600 and buyer stepped up, we made new all-time highs, and then obviously we gapped up, filled the gap, and so on. So we're not looking to short the Qs, right? If we fall under the 600, right, we're pretty much hands off because then we are back in this channel, right? We don't want to be a part of that. So that's my game plan for the Qs coming into Monday. Tesla. This is beautiful. I think Tesla is it's setting up. We're still bullish on the higher time frame. We're still intact, still moving higher. As you can see here. So Tesla, right, did his own thing on Friday. Obviously, we had a big sell off, but right, it stepped up. Right, buyer stepped up down here and defended this very well and pushed this higher. Right. So for me, coming into Monday on Tesla, this is my game plan because I really want to break this down. So the A plus long is over 445. Right. This was the key level all last week. Right. We consolidated for 2 days. Right. Monday, Tuesday. My game plan, right, going into Wednesday is if we can get a break and retest above this, there's clear shots above. Clearly, we got a break and retest above it, clear shots above. Right. We fell under it, straight shot down. Right. So that being said, there's nothing over 445 that's in Tesla's way that's going to stop this. So I like this. This is a good confluence, right? This is a higher time frame key level and a previous day high. So a break and retest above this, this is a clear shot above. Nothing in its way. Now, for short, I do like a short under 423.15, targeting the previous day low in the bottom of this range. I'm still really not looking to short Tesla because even if this sets up, right, you see where buyers stepped in aggressively. So to take this short really depends on what the overall market is doing for me. But I'm still bullish bias on Tesla, but I don't marry a bias. I come into the day looking to trade both ways. Now, right, on Monday, this and this, what is that? That's an inside bar day, right? So that being said, I am hands off really anywhere in here, right? This is a no trade zone for me. These are both channels, right? Let's zoom out here on Tesla, right? As you can see, right? This is all a channel, right? I don't want to be a part of that. So if you come here, right, I am possibly looking too long over this 436.30. Now, the reason for that being is that this is a good RR trade. This is an $8 gap, right? On Tesla, that's a big gap, right? That's moving to the upside. That's going to pay you very well. Anywhere in here, I'm hands off, right? So coming into Monday, A plus long, break and retest over this 445, targeting the upside. Clearly good confluence here. I do like that. Anywhere in here is a no trade zone for me. I am hands off anywhere in here. I do like shorts under 423.15, targeting previous day low, and then you can scale out there, look to hold for continuation lower. And since I am bullish bias on this name and we still are intact on the higher time frame to the upside, I do like longs over this 436.30, right? So these are the three really key levels here that we are looking to take trades off of. AMD. Okay, so AMD is an interesting one here. I really want to break this down thoroughly going into the week. This really will be on my main watch coming into the week, right? I will go on the weekly time frame and explain why. So, right, as you can see here, right, key levels are being respected perfectly on AMD on the intraday. So this is a no trade zone, right, for me. This is a no trade zone for me on AMD, right? One, we're not going to go short off a previous day low, and two, a daily support level. right? That's a no. So what I'm looking for on AMD is a break and retest over this 164.75, targeting the top of this range, and then obviously along over this, right, targeting the top of this range. These are two key solid levels to go long off of. Now, let's zoom out here. Let's go here on the daily. So what, actually, let me start here on the weekly. Okay, cool. So as you can see here, this is a big deal on AMD. 164.75, this is a big deal, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 6 weeks. We have struggled to get a candle close above this 164.75. If we can get a break and retest of this level, this is a possible, swing trade setup, a big day trade setup, and this is something that I am watching, right? So for 6 weeks, we have been struggling really to get over this 164.75. Wicks do the damage, body tells the story, right? Sellers came in aggressively and pushed this back down. We ended up pushing all the way up to 171.36, and at the end of the week, we closed right back under this by 10 cents, right? Kind of crazy. So coming into the week, right, I am not looking to short this name, right? Obviously, if we fall under 162.05, which is a key level, right? Clear reasons why we're not going to short under that, right? We don't want anything to do in here, right? We're avoiding channel, so that's a no trade zone, right? This is a no trade zone for me. If we get a pop and fade off this 164.75, I'm hands off, and if we fall under here, I'm hands off. So I'm really just looking for a 164.75 break and retest reclaim, targeting the top of this range, or break and retest over here over this 168.65, targeting the top of this range. But coming into Monday, right? This weekly support level or resistance level now, right? This is a key level to watch. If we can get a break and retest above this and hold price above this, this can really continue higher. And we're close, right? We are close, right? This was the closest we've been in a very long time, right? Look where the body of the candle closed. But this shows you the power of the weekly time frame, right? So this weekly candle, we can start off the week and get some candle closure above here, and buyers can step up. This thing can really move higher. NVIDIA. Okay, so beautiful, right? This is normal, right? I just said this with Qs, right? We just broke through, we made all-time highs. Now, if we see a little bit of consolidation before it makes its next leg higher, that is 100% normal. So what I'm looking for in NVIDIA is a break, retest over this 188.15, targeting, right, all-time highs. You can scale out here at the previous day high, targeting the top of that. That's a good shot. That's a good setup, right? You're going with the overall higher time frame. You're going with the overall trend. That is a very good shot. I'm also looking for a pullback long off this weekly, right? This is a weekly support level, a pullback long off of that. You can see, right, buyer stepped up very aggressively, pushing this thing higher, right? So I'm looking for that. Now, a couple of things here. If, and a big if, right? If NVIDIA fails under this 184.50, which is a weekly resistance turn support, right? Let's just zoom out here. Look how highly respected this level was. If we fall back under this, I do like this to the downside. Why? Right? Because now this is a breakup structure, right? Stick with me. That'd be a break, a retest, and a move lower. That is a lower low, right? That is a breakup structure on the higher time frame. So coming into this week, right? This 184.50, this is a very key level to watch, right? If we fall under this, like on Monday, that's a good shot. We'll be under the previous day low. We'll be under a weekly support turn resistance, and we're moving lower. That is a breakup structure. That is a very big RR trade. So, but as of now, as long as we are above this 184.50, I'm long biased, right? So we're looking for a break and retest above 188.15, targeting all-time highs, previous day high you can scale out, or a pullback long off this 184.50, targeting the upside. Apple, right? Apple's close. We are still long bias on Apple, right? All week I've been saying we have not gotten a body candle closure over this 257.35. Finally, we kind of did, right? It's still there. It's flirting with it. And we still have not taken out all-time highs. So coming into Friday, right? My game plan was a pullback long off this 253.90. It happened instantly, so that was too aggressive for me. I ended up taking a break and retest over the 257.35, targeting all-time highs. Now, coming into Monday, right? What are we looking for? We're looking for a pullback long, targeting previous day high, and then all-time highs, right? Clear shots above, or a pullback long at 253.90, targeting all-time highs. That's if, right, we don't gap up and we haven't swept that liquidity yet, right? So we are still long bias here on Apple. Now, if we fall under this 257.35, you can look to take that. Me personally, I'm not, just because higher time frame context is still bullish. We are trending and we are gravitating towards all-time highs, but straight up equals straight down, right? This is a lot of thin volume that have to be filled here on Apple, right? So if we fall under this and we just free fall to the downside, I would not be surprised. But once again, I'm not looking to short this name. So coming into Monday, we're looking for a pullback long off this 257.35 or a pullback long off this 253.90, right? Let's say we open up around previous day high. I'm not looking to go long off this level, right? That's not a good RR trade, right? You're going long right into an all-time high, right? This, a pullback long down here, that's the bigger RR trade, right? That's the higher probability trade. So that's what we're looking for. Lastly, Palantir. So Palantir, interesting one. We obviously free falled all of Friday, which is crazy. Then again, not really surprised. If you look here on the daily, right, clear bear flag to the downside. Very unfortunate here, right? This is very unfortunate here on Palantir. Why? Because all we did was sit in this range. We finally broke outside of this range, right? At the top of this range. And what did we do? We turned it into support, right? We turned it into support. Looking higher, right? Looking like we were pretty much going to eventually get very close and take out all-time highs. And then this happens, right? So if we break back over 177.05, you can look to go long there. I personally, I'm going to pass on that because this is a no trade zone for me. I don't want to be in a channel, but this is a lot of thin volume that have to be filled, right? Straight down equals straight up and vice versa. Obviously, anywhere in here is a no trade zone. It'll be inside bar day. I don't want to do with anything inside of this, right? Nothing in there for me coming in on a Monday. I do like shorts under 171.90. This is about $3, 3.9 gap. So you can look to target the bottom of this range. That's a good RR trade. And then of course, the A plus trade would definitely be a short under 169. That is the A plus short, right? You can look to go long over this 177.05, targeting the top of this range. And if, big if we end up coming back down under this 170, 190, right? You can lift your short off of that. You can scale out here at previous day low and then see if price can continue lower to the bottom of this range.